Alex Carter had never seen anything like the Zalari before. Their city gleamed under the twin suns of Arendor, built with a mix of crystal towers and flowing organic shapes that seemed almost alive. From his transport ship, Alex had watched as the aliens moved gracefully through the streets, their long, slender limbs and shimmering skin catching the sunlight. They were beautiful and strange, unlike anything humanity had encountered before. And yet, Alex felt a strange calmness in their presence, as if their minds were not just thinking, but feeling everything around them. Alex was a xenobiologist. His job was to observe, record, and sometimes interact with alien life forms. He had traveled to many planets, seen creatures that could survive extreme heat or deep oceans. But the Zalari were different. They were intelligent, highly organized, and their emotions seemed to flow through the air like an invisible current. Today was a special day. The Queen of the Zalari, leader of the planet, was bringing her only son out for the first time to meet visiting humans. Alex adjusted his uniform and walked carefully across the polished stone platform. The other humans were already gathered, mostly diplomats and scientists, all dressed formally and standing in neat rows. Some were whispering, excited or nervous about the first official contact. Alex, however, kept his attention on the child. Kale, the Zalari prince, was said to be smart, curious, and unusually strong for his age. But no one knew what he would do. Even the queen did not force him to act a certain way. The crowd quieted as a soft, melodic sound filled the air. The queen appeared at the top of the main stairs, her presence commanding and yet gentle. She wore robes that shimmered with colors Alex could not name, shifting like liquid in the sunlight. Her eyes, large and luminous, scanned the humans carefully. Alex felt a little nervous under her gaze, but he straightened and kept his hands by his side. Behind her, Kale stepped into view. The boy was smaller than Alex expected, no taller than a human of 7 or 8 years old. But there was something in his eyes that seemed ancient and knowing. He did not rush forward, but moved slowly, observing the humans and aliens around him. The crowd murmured in awe and excitement, as if expecting him to choose someone immediately. Alex watched, curious and tense. He had spent years studying alien behavior, and yet he had never seen anything like this. Kyle's eyes seemed to move beyond the humans standing before him as if he were looking through them, seeing something else entirely. Then, without warning, Kyle broke from the group. He ran. Not toward the human dignitaries standing in neat lines, not toward the scientists or the council members who were supposed to guide him, not toward anyone at all except Alex. Alex froze. For a moment, he thought it was a mistake, that someone would grab the child, but no one moved. Kyle came closer, faster than expected, his small feet barely making a sound on the smooth stone. The crowd gasped, whispering in shock and confusion. Some humans reached out instinctively, but Kale ignored them. The Zalari accompanying the queen stepped forward, unsure how to react, but even they hesitated. When Kale reached Alex, he stopped. His large eyes looked straight into Alex's, and for a heartbeat, the world seemed to quiet. Alex felt something strange, a connection he could not explain. It was not just the child's curiosity, it was as if Kale recognized him, as if he had been waiting for this moment without either of them knowing why. Alex knelt slowly, unsure of what to do, and Kale took his hand. It was small, but strong, surprisingly warm. The crowd fell silent, watching the impossible scene. No one spoke. Even the queen seemed frozen, her expression unreadable. "My son is selected," she said softly, her voice carrying across the platform. Every word held weight. The humans turned to look at her, confused, while the Zalari around her shifted uneasily. Alex's heart pounded. Selected? What did that mean? He had expected a ceremonial handshake or a polite nod. maybe some formal exchange. He had not expected a child to choose him personally, ignoring all the others. And yet, here he was, kneeling with Cale, holding his hand, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Hello? Alex said gently, his voice trembling a little. Kyle tilted his head, studying him. Then, slowly, the boy smiled. It was a small smile, shy but confident at the same time, and Alex felt a warmth spread through him. The Queen watched, her eyes softening ever so slightly, as if she were proud of her son but also cautious about what his choice might mean. The other humans shifted, murmuring among themselves. Some looked worried, whispering about protocol or rank. Others seemed amazed, staring at the child with admiration. Alex ignored them all. His attention was entirely on Cale. The connection he felt was stronger than anything he had ever experienced. "Can you understand me?" Alex asked, uncertain. He was not sure if the boy spoke human languages or if he understood the meaning behind the words. Cale nodded slightly. He did not speak, but a feeling passed between them, subtle and undeniable. Alex realized it was not just understanding, it was recognition, acceptance, and something deeper he could not yet name. The Queen stepped closer, her robes flowing like liquid behind her. She did not interfere, but her eyes never left her son. "He does not follow orders easily," she said, almost to herself. "He chooses for himself." Alex nodded, understanding more than her words. He had seen similar behavior in other intelligent species, but nothing like this. Kyle was not just selecting a companion. He was asserting his will, his independence, and he had chosen Alex without hesitation. It was a moment that would change everything. Slowly, Alex stood, keeping Cale's hand in his. The boy stayed close, moving in sync with him as if they had been walking together for years. The crowd around them was still silent, and Alex could feel eyes on his back, judging, wondering, and perhaps envying the bond forming before them. A young Zalari official stepped forward cautiously, but Kyle looked at him with a subtle warning in his gaze. The official froze, and then stepped back. Alex realized that Kyle was not just a child. He was intelligent, aware, and capable of asserting control over the situation despite his size. The humans and aliens alike had underestimated him. Alex looked down at Kyle and smiled. I don't know why you chose me," he said softly, "but I promise I won't let you down." Cale leaned slightly toward him, resting his small hand against Alex's arm, a gesture of trust and confidence. It was more than a simple touch. It was a statement. The Queen observed quietly, her face calm but thoughtful. "He has always been different," she said almost to herself. "He sees beyond the expected. He chooses not because of rank, not because of ceremony, but because of truth. And he has chosen you." Alex felt a shiver run down his spine. He had studied alien behavior for years, but nothing in his textbooks had prepared him for this. The bond was real, immediate, and undeniable. He realized that whatever happened next, this connection would matter more than protocol, politics, or ceremony. Cale's eyes sparkled with curiosity as he looked around. The child seemed eager to explore, to understand the humans around him, yet he remained close to Alex. It was clear that he trusted him more than anyone else. Alex could feel the weight of that trust. It was heavy, but also inspiring. He felt a responsibility he had never known before. The crowd slowly began to react. Some humans stepped forward cautiously, offering polite smiles or gestures of approval. The Zalari officials whispered among themselves, confused but intrigued. Alex ignored them all. His focus was on Cale, on the small being who had ignored the entire world to run to him. For a long moment, they simply stood there, human and alien, child and adult, hand in hand. The twin suns shone down, casting long shadows across the platform. and the city of the Zalari seemed to hold its breath. Alex realized that this was more than a ceremonial event. This was a meeting that could change the relationship between humans and Zalari forever. And in that quiet, incredible moment, Alex understood something fundamental. The child had not chosen him by accident. Kale had seen something in humanity, perhaps courage, perhaps kindness, perhaps something deeper that no one else had understood. And now, it was up to Alex to rise to the moment. He took a deep breath, looking down at Kyle with a steady, calm expression. "Then let's see what we can do together," he said. Kyle tilted his head, a small smile spreading across his face, and squeezed Alex's hand in response. It was simple, but it said everything. The humans around them watched in awe. The Zalari whispered among themselves, and the Queen observed silently. For Alex, the world had narrowed to a single truth. He had been chosen by the most extraordinary child in the galaxy, and somehow he already knew that this was just the beginning. Alex felt the weight of the moment as he and Kale stood together on the platform. The crowd was still watching, but he ignored them. The humans were whispering, and some of the Zalari officials looked uneasy, but the Queen's gaze remained steady on her son. Kyle had made his choice, and nothing else seemed to matter. The child tugged gently at Alex's hand, guiding him toward a quieter area of the platform. Alex followed, careful not to stumble on the smooth stones. The closer they moved, the more he could see Kale's curiosity and intelligence shining in his eyes. The child's small movements were precise, deliberate, and confident. Alex could not help but feel that Kale was testing him, silently asking if he could keep up. "You're very brave," Alex said softly, kneeling to meet the child's eyes. "Not many humans would be willing to, well, have a child run straight to them." Kale's expression was unreadable for a moment. Then, almost imperceptibly, he nodded, as if he understood every word. Alex realized he was not speaking just to a child, but to someone far more aware than his age suggested. Kale seemed to think in layers, understanding not only words but the meaning behind them. The human and the alien shared a strange moment of silence, filled with unspoken understanding. "Do you want to explore?" Alex asked, unsure if the child would respond. Kale's eyes lit up slightly, and he gave a small, eager nod. Alex smiled, realizing that this was more than a simple selection. The child wanted to learn, to experience, and to share that experience with him. They walked together across the platform, moving toward a large, open garden that stretched across the heart of the Zalari city. The garden was filled with strange plants, glowing softly under the light of the twin suns. Some plants seemed to hum quietly, their leaves vibrating with energy. Others had petals that shimmered like crystals. Alex had never seen anything like it, and he could tell Kale had as well. The child ran ahead slightly, then turned back to make sure Alex was following. He pointed at a small, glowing flower, and Alex bent down to examine it. The plant reacted to their presence, curling its petals toward them as if it were alive in more ways than one. Kale laughed softly, a sound that seemed almost musical. Alex realized that the child's joy was genuine, not playful in a childish way, but in a way that came from wonder and curiosity. "Humans don't have anything like this," Alex said quietly. "Not on Earth, not anywhere I've been." Kyle tilted his head, listening, and then touched Alex's hand again, as if acknowledging the truth of his words. They moved through the garden slowly, Kyle pointing out plants and small creatures that Alex could not have noticed on his own. A small, insect-like being with transparent wings hovered nearby, and Kyle reached out gently to let it land on his finger. Alex watched, fascinated, as the child handled it with care, showing both patience and understanding. "You really pay attention," Alex said softly. "Most humans would just walk past." Kale gave a slight nod and then looked at Alex with something like pride. The child clearly valued observation and understanding, and Alex felt honored that he was part of that moment. As they explored, Alex noticed that other Zalari were watching them from a distance. Some seemed curious, others cautious, and a few even seemed a little annoyed. Alex could feel the tension in the air. Humans were not supposed to be close to the royal children, and yet here he was, walking and talking and learning with Kale as if they had known each other for years. They reached a small pond at the center of the garden. The water was crystal clear, reflecting the twin suns in a way that made it look almost like liquid light. Kyle knelt beside it, dipping his fingers into the water and watching the ripples spread. Alex followed, sitting beside him. "Do you like it here?" Alex asked. Kale looked at him, then around the garden, and finally nodded. The child's expression was serious now, thoughtful. It was as if he were making a decision about something important. "I think he trusts you," said a soft voice behind them. Alex turned to see the Queen standing a short distance away. She had not moved forward when Kale ran to him, but now she watched closely, her expression calm and proud. "He chooses carefully," she said. "Not many can earn his attention." Alex felt a mix of pride and nervousness. "I don't know if I've done anything yet," he said honestly. "He just ran to me. I didn't do anything special." The Queen's eyes softened. "Actions are not always needed," she said. "The child senses the heart. He knows when someone is worthy." "That is why he ran to you." Alex blinked. "Worthy? Me?" Kale touched his hand again, and it was as if the child's trust confirmed the Queen's words. Alex could feel the meaning, though it was not spoken. Kale had decided. That simple act of running had said more than any ceremony or speech ever could. For a while, they sat together by the pond, watching the light dance across the water. Alex asked questions about Kale's life, about the Zalari customs, and the child responded not with words but with gestures, expressions, and a strange understanding that Alex slowly began to follow. Each interaction felt like learning a new language, one that combined thought, feeling, and observation. A small group of humans approached cautiously, including some diplomats who looked anxious. Alex felt the weight of their gaze but ignored it, keeping his attention on Kyle. The child did not flinch, did not turn away. It was clear that Kyle's loyalty was firmly with him, and Alex realized that this bond would not be broken by ceremony or politics. "Can you show me something?" Alex asked, curious about the child's abilities. Kale's eyes brightened slightly, and he stood, taking Alex's hand and pulling him toward a set of strange, glowing orbs arranged in a circle near the edge of the garden. Alex could feel energy in the air, subtle vibrations that seemed almost alive. Kyle touched the first orb, and a soft light spread across the circle, illuminating patterns that Alex could barely understand. The child's fingers moved carefully, and the orbs responded to him as if they were listening. Alex watched in awe, realizing that Kale could manipulate the energy in ways that no human had ever experienced. "You're incredible," Alex said softly. Kale glanced at him and smiled slightly, as if acknowledging the truth of his words without pride, without arrogance. It was natural, effortless, and Alex felt both amazed and honored. Suddenly, one of the Zalari officials stepped forward, clearly concerned. "Your son, he should not be demonstrating such abilities in the presence of humans," the official said. "It is dangerous." Kale turned to him, eyes sharp, and the official froze. Alex could feel the intensity of the child's focus. Kale was small, but the power and confidence in him were undeniable. The Queen stepped forward, her voice calm but firm. "He chooses how he shows himself. If he has chosen to share with this human, Then it is his right." The official nodded reluctantly and stepped back. But Alex could see the surprise and respect in his eyes. Even among his own people, Cale's decisions were taken seriously. Alex realized something important. Kyle was not just a child. He was a leader in the making. His intelligence, his curiosity, and his ability to see beyond rules and fear made him extraordinary. And now, for reasons Alex did not fully understand, he had been chosen as the one to share in this journey. They continued to explore the garden, Kale showing Alex hidden paths, small creatures, and plants that seemed almost magical. Each discovery was a lesson, each moment a chance to understand the child and the Zalari world. Alex felt a sense of awe and responsibility, knowing that this bond was rare and precious. As the sun began to lower in the sky, casting long shadows across the city, Kale sat on a smooth stone, looking out over the garden. Alex sat beside him, feeling the weight of the day and the meaning of what had happened. "You've chosen well," the Queen said, approaching quietly. "Not many humans would understand him. Most would try to control or guide. You let him be himself." Alex felt a deep respect for her words. He had not realized it consciously, but it was true. He had not tried to change Kale, only to understand him. Kale reached out, resting his hand lightly on Alex's arm. The gesture was simple but full of meaning. Alex could feel trust, friendship, and a bond that was deeper than words. He realized that this moment, this connection, was something that could change everything, not just for him, but for the humans and the Zalari alike. The Queen smiled, a small, knowing smile. "He has chosen wisely," she said softly, "and so have you. This is only the beginning." Alex looked at Kale and nodded, understanding that their journey together had just begun. He felt excitement and nervousness, but above all, a sense of purpose. For the first time, he understood what it meant to be chosen, and he vowed silently to honor that trust. As they left the garden, walking back toward the platform where the others waited, Alex knew that the day would be remembered for a long time. Kyle had made a choice that defied expectations, and Alex had accepted it. Together, they were a bridge between two worlds, a human and an alien, bound not by ceremony or duty, but by trust and understanding. And as the twin suns of Arendor dipped lower in the sky, casting golden light across the city, Alex felt a quiet certainty. This child, this extraordinary boy, had chosen him for a reason that neither of them fully understood yet, but one that would shape the future of both their worlds. After that first day in the garden, Alex felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. Kyle had chosen him, and he could not ignore the responsibility that came with it. The humans and Zalari officials had their opinions, but Alex knew that the bond he shared with the child was something deeper than rules or politics. It was trust, understanding, and connection, and it was real. The next morning, Alex arrived at the Zalari Palace early. The building seemed even more alive than the day before. Light shimmered across the walls, and faint hums of energy ran through the floors and ceilings. It was a place that seemed to respond to the people inside it, and Alex could feel the difference immediately. He was not here just as a visitor. He was here because Kale had chosen him. Kale was waiting in one of the palace courtyards. The child had already been exploring, crouched low to examine a small glowing plant. When he saw Alex, he ran toward him, laughing. Alex smiled, feeling warmth spread through him. This child had a joy and energy that was infectious, but also a focus and intelligence that amazed him every time. "Good morning, Kale," Alex said softly. "Are you ready to explore today?" Kale nodded, and without hesitation grabbed Alex's hand, pulling him toward a new section of the courtyard. Alex noticed that the area was filled with strange creatures. Some were small and scuttled across the ground, while others hovered in the air, their wings catching the sunlight like glass. Kyle crouched beside a creature that looked like a tiny dragon. Its scales shimmered in green and gold, and it made soft, musical noises. Kyle reached out slowly, letting it climb onto his arm. Alex watched closely, learning from the child's careful movements. "You're very gentle," he said quietly. "Not many humans could do that without scaring it." Kyle looked at him briefly and smiled as if saying, "I know." They moved through the courtyard together, and Alex realized how much he was learning, not just about Kale, but about the Zalari world itself. Every plant, every creature, even the stones under their feet seemed alive in some way. Kale knew this world, and he understood it intuitively. Alex could feel that he was learning not just about the child, but about the deeper connection between life and energy that the Zalari possessed. After exploring the courtyard, Kale led Alex into a smaller chamber filled with strange symbols and glowing panels. Alex recognized some as forms of language, but many seemed to shift and change as he looked at them. Kale moved his hand over a series of lights, and the room responded instantly. Patterns of light danced across the walls, forming shapes that Alex could barely comprehend. "Can you do that?" Alex asked, amazed. Kyle looked at him, eyes serious, and touched another set of panels. A wave of light spread across the room, forming images that seemed to tell a story. Alex realized that Kale was showing him knowledge, but not just with words. It was understanding, wisdom, and feeling all at once. "You're very smart," Alex said softly. "I've never seen anything like this." Kale's expression softened, and he leaned slightly closer, as if proud to share his abilities. Alex realized that the child was not just intelligent, he was powerful. But it was not the kind of power that demanded fear or respect. It was quiet, precise, and full of purpose. As they studied the room, a sudden commotion came from outside. Alex and Kale ran to the balcony, looking down on the main plaza. A group of Zalari officials were arguing loudly, their voices sharp and tense. Alex could not understand the words, but he felt the anger and frustration in the air. Kale's eyes narrowed slightly, and he took Alex's hand, holding it firmly. "They're upset," Alex said. Kyle nodded. It was clear that the officials did not like the idea of a human being so close to the royal child. Some were whispering about rules, others about tradition. Alex realized that their bond was unusual, even dangerous in the eyes of some Zalari. But Kale did not seem afraid. He stood calmly, letting Alex know silently that he would protect them both if needed. After the argument ended, Kyle led Alex to a quiet balcony overlooking a garden full of flowing water and glowing plants. The child sat down, legs crossed, and motioned for Alex to do the same. They sat together in silence, listening to the soft sounds of the water and the hum of the city. Alex realized that these quiet moments were as important as the adventures. They were learning each other, understanding each other, and forming a bond that went beyond words. "You're brave," Alex said finally. "Not because you fight or anything, but because you trust people. You trust me." Kyle looked at him, eyes thoughtful. Then he touched Alex's hand gently, as if confirming the truth of his words. Alex felt a surge of emotion. The child's trust was not easy to earn, and he had it now. Over the next few days, Alex and Kale spent more time together. They explored the city, visiting areas humans were not usually allowed to see. Kale showed Alex secret passages, hidden gardens, and even a small laboratory where the child experimented with energy and plants. Alex was amazed by the child's intelligence, patience, and creativity. Each day, Kyle revealed something new, teaching Alex about the Zalari world and about himself. One afternoon, they came across a small group of alien children practicing a game that involved speed and agility. Kyle ran toward them, and Alex followed. The children stopped for a moment, surprised to see him, but Kyle waved them over. Soon, Alex found himself part of the game, running, dodging, and laughing alongside the young Zalari. It was a moment of pure joy, and Alex realized that Kyle had chosen him not just for wisdom or bravery, but for friendship and understanding. As the sun began to set, casting golden light across the city, Kyle and Alex returned to the palace. They walked quietly, hand in hand, sharing thoughts without words. Alex felt a deep sense of responsibility. He knew that others might try to interfere, to break the bond, or to control Kale. But he also knew that this child had chosen him for a reason. That evening, the Queen invited Alex to dine with them. It was a private dinner, only for the royal family and him. Alex felt honored but also nervous. The Queen watched him carefully, her expression calm but sharp. Kyle sat beside him, and the child's hand brushed Alex's under the table. It was a small gesture, but it filled him with confidence. "You have done well," the Queen said quietly. "Not many humans could earn his trust so quickly. It is not skill alone, it is heart." Alex bowed slightly. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I only hope I can live up to his choice." The Queen nodded, a small smile forming. "He chooses wisely, and so do you." After dinner, Kyle led Alex to a balcony overlooking the city. The twin suns had dipped below the horizon, leaving the sky painted in shades of purple and gold. The city glowed softly, alive with energy. Kale sat beside Alex, leaning slightly against him. Alex could feel the trust and warmth radiating from the child. "You're amazing," Alex whispered. "I don't know how to explain it, but you've changed everything for me." Kale's hand squeezed his gently. It was a simple gesture, but it meant more than words. Alex realized that the bond they shared was not just friendship, but a connection that would shape both their lives. Suddenly, a loud noise came from the city below. Alex and Kale looked down to see a group of Zalari officials gathered, their expressions angry and determined. Alex could feel the tension in the air. Something was happening, and it was not good. Kyle's eyes narrowed, and he stood, holding Alex's hand tightly. "They are planning something," Alex said quietly. Kyle nodded, understanding instantly. The child's focus was intense, precise. He was small, but his presence carried authority. Alex felt a surge of pride. He had been chosen not just as a companion, but as someone Kale trusted to face challenges with him. They watched quietly as the officials moved through the city. Alex realized that this was the first real test of their bond. Kale had chosen him, but now they would see if the humans and Zalari could work together in a world filled with doubt, fear, and rivalry. For the first time, Alex felt the true meaning of responsibility. He was not just a visitor. He was part of something larger, something that could change the relationship between humans and Zalari forever. And as he looked at Kale, he knew one thing clearly. They would face whatever came next together, hand in hand, ready for anything. As the stars began to shine in the night sky, Alex felt a sense of calm determination. Kale had chosen him, and he would honor that choice. No matter the challenges, no matter the danger, he would stand by the child who had ignored the world to run to him. And in that bond, Alex found a strength he had never known before. Together they sat in the quiet palace garden, watching the city glow, feeling the hum of energy all around them, ready for whatever tomorrow might bring.